Hi there, CP Algebra 1B, and welcome to our final exam review, solving by factoring. Don't be afraid of these. These are easy, okay? I know we did a few in class, but in case you need another refresher, I'll make this video for you to help out. So, simply put, these first few problems, they are already ready to solve, okay? The steps are basically the same. So, steps for solving are one, factor. So if they're not already factored, you need to do so. That includes bringing out a GCF, including a GCF. Step two, set each factor equal to 0. And then simply solve each factor. Okay, for problem number 45 here, so it is already factored. It's already factored. It is done. It's already factored. It's ready to go. So what you need to do is step 2, set each factor equal to 0. Here is the first factor, 3x. Here is the second factor, x minus 7, which means we have either 3x is equal to 0 or x minus 7 is equal to 0. So this problem, pretty easy. Factoring is already done for you. To solve for x, you would divide this side by 3. Okay, so x is equal to 0 divided by 3 is 0. There's one of your solutions. If you add 7 to the other side for the second 0, we get x equals 7. And that's the other solution. That's it. Factored, solved, ready to go. 45. Okay? Looks a little bigger, but again, don't panic. First off, it's already factored. Now, this 4 out front, since there is no variable, okay, no variable, it really is not important. So not important if there's not a variable. In the previous example, notice how there was a variable, okay, the x, so it was important. But really, our only factors here are 6b plus 5 and b minus 6. Those are the only factors. So we simply set each of those equal to 0, step 2. So 6b plus 5 is equal to 0, and b minus 6 is equal to 0. Solve each of those. This should be easy work for you. So 6b is equal to negative 5. We will get a fraction. That's okay. Don't panic. B is just simply negative 5/6. For the other equation, you add 6 to each side, and b is equal to 6. So those are the two solutions. Again, if there's not a variable, it's not a factor. So that's about it. So step 3 is actually solving. Where it gets a little trickier is when it's not factored for you. So for 49, we need to factor that. So step 1 is the factor, and remember, that includes a GCF. If it's a binomial, if there are two terms, if there are just two terms, you use the GCF. Greatest common factor, factoring. So, n squared and negative 6n, what do they share? They each share an n, so we bring that out, and that leaves you with n minus 6. And it's equal to 0. So that is the factored form. Now, our two factors are just the n and the n minus 6. So remember, this is a variable, so it's important. So we're going to set it equal to 0. And we're going to set n minus 6 equal to 0. This one's already solved. You don't even need to do any work. For the next one, you're going to add 6 to both sides. And n is going to equal 6. Not too bad. Hopefully You're remembering this stuff. Now for 51, okay? 51, there's another little trick. So aside from factoring first, so our actual first step here is to make sure that the right side, it needs to be 0. Which means you want to add 4 to each side. Now, since it's a constant, it's going to add to the other constant. So we're going to have b squared plus 2b, and then minus 35 equals 0. When it is set equal to 0, then we can factor, okay? So now, if it's a trinomial, we're looking at factors of c that add to b. That's for a trinomial. So factors of c, so we're looking at positive 7 and negative 5 are going to add to positive 2, which means we have b plus 7 and b minus 5. When we solve that now, we set each of those equal to 0. So remember, this is a factor, that is a factor. Set each one equal to 0. B plus 7 is equal to 0. Subtract 7, and b is equal to negative 7. Or b minus 5 equals 0. Add 5, and we get b equals 5. Those are the two solutions. Okay, for the even problems, they're all pretty much the same idea. So 50, you're going to need to, you don't need to set it equal to 0, it's already there. Same with 48, and 46 is already split up and solved. Okay, so that's the quick little snippet on solving by factoring. Okay, hope you watch that. Try these out. Check your answers on Schoology. And Tuesday, when you come back, or the next day in class, just ask some questions. Good stuff, guys.